Welcome to the second season premiere episode of Suncoast People. And you know, I started the show last year, and my first guest was Linda Carson. I'm honored to call her a friend and someone I had the opportunity to work with at ABC7. And I wanted to start this season with someone whom I am also honored to call a friend. He's well known in the community for his on-air hosting work, his marketing savvy, and his great talent as a singer and actor. He was on last season, and I knew I wanted him to come back and celebrate season 2. He's got an update for us on a couple of things and tell us what he's up to these days. Joey Panek. Welcome back to season 2 of Suncoast People. I feel like we should have confetti or something going around.
In my mind, there's confetti.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm honored to be back to literally kick off your second season.
As long as you don't kick me off the set,
no,
we're good.
No, and I like the set is stepped up. All of it. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Not a lot of shows get to a second season, so congratulations.
Thank you. Some don't even make it past the pilot.
No, that's for sure. So look, that's a lot to celebrate.
And if we have a season 3, would you come back for season 3?
Yes, absolutely. Right. It's like White Lotus. Yeah, like I'll keep coming back. I'll be your Jennifer Coolidge, but no spoilers. But
well, how are you doing?
I'm good. That is even I didn't believe that. No, I'm very good. I'm in a state of transition this year. Just with life and things and mindset and goals and so I'm kind of in the middle of that leap, like jumping from a train car onto the next train car, and I feel like I'm still kind of midair.
Well, that's what this show is about. Is about those second or third mountains. On an upcoming show, we have the former mayor of Sarasota, Hagen Brody, and we're going to be talking. I feel like I'm giving a plug now for a future show.
Smart.
But and he kind of talks about the same thing because he's sort of been in a transitional phase.
But there's probably a good thing, right? I mean, if you don't transition your life to how the world around us changes, and if you don't change with it, Do you handle change well? No, not at all.
No.
I like it on the other side of it, but as I'm one of those people that will white knuckle to hold on to things how they are.
Yeah.
Even though I know in my mind that there's probably something even better on the other side of that change, but I don't do well with it.
How do you cope with change? How do you do self-care with change?
I go inward a lot. I get very introspective and quiet, which is shocking to some people. But then it comes around and I'm thinking, oh, this was great. We should have been doing this all along. So I'll never learn. Maybe I'll learn.
Well, I also know that running and exercise is a big part of your physical and mental health. And, when you were on last and you were talking about when you were a kid and you described yourself as, quote, a big kid. And you're a big kid now, but meant that you were a larger.
I was a plus-size child. Yes.
Okay. Does that influence your running?
Absolutely.
Do you still look in the mirror and see that I hate to use the word chubby, but I can use it because I am chubby.
Oh yeah.
Do you see that in the mirror?
Absolutely, because I was and I had very poor self-esteem about my body and appearance in those what I considered those formative years that were very important. And it's funny, and I think it's obvious. Like I post a lot of selfies. I mean, I'm basically asking for
positive
approval, positive feedback, and there can never be enough. But I'm also getting older I'm transitioning out of that middle awkward age, at least in Sarasota, I've still been young up until now. So some of that is the freedom of letting that go and seeing what else is there. But no, running for me is like, it's me taming my anxiety and my, I don't know, my amygdala, my fight or flight is always ready to jump in. So,
Are you able to share any of the changes that, because you said you're mid-flight. Do you know where you're landing or where you might be landing?
I think so. When I was here last, it was an interesting time to be here. I was just kind of transitioning, separating from my full-time job with an agency to go more freelance, and I had come back to ABC7 on a part-time basis, and not sure how long that was going to last. So that was really like the first step of a big change, and it's been great. It's been really great. I'm lucky to work with, in addition to my time at Suncoast View, I'm also working with some wonderful people in the community. I work very closely on the marketing side with Realm Restaurant Group, Chris Cavelli and Sharon Carroll. And
Chris was a guest here on the show. What a tremendous individual.
Absolutely. And so that is just a pleasure to work with them. So, and I've got a couple other irons in the fire. I'm doing a lot of gigs right now that all equal a full-time job and a half.
And an interesting life and job by having... You're not going into a cubicle every day and staring at a computer screen.
Yeah.
Could you ever handle doing something like that?
No, a job that would keep me inside for too long or behind a desk for too long is not a good match for me.
Okay.
And then, but if I'm out in the field 100%, that's not for me because I sweat too much. I'm very delicate. So this is a perfect mix for me right now, of getting to do all of these different projects, and they each kind of complement each other.
Last time you were on, you were talking about a theatrical adventure.
Yes.
Tell us about
Oh my
that.
goodness. So again, I feel like, if there was a word over my face right now, it would be, transition or adapting. I was getting ready I had agreed to do or signed on to go back on stage at Venice Theater. They're doing Xanadu the musical, which I feel like I always have to have the disclaimer. If you loved the movie, the roller skating Olivia Newton-John movie with the great soundtrack, and it's admittedly a terrible movie, but I loved it as a kid. This is a brilliant musical that makes fun of the movie. It's a big send-up. It's very, very funny. So I was getting ready to do that, and at Venice Theater, and the hurricane. We were 2 weeks, I think, into rehearsals.
Sure.
And the Hurricane Ian, damaged the building, and all programming had to stop. And so I thought we weren't going to get to do the show at all, but we are going to now start rehearsals for it in just a few weeks. So
fantastic!
And this is going to be the right time.
It's coming back. Well, I know a mutual friend and acquaintance of ours, Tony Boothby.
Yes.
Does some part-time acting, but he's actually a realtor. Well, I'm going to have to, Tony, we're going to get you on the show these days because you've got a story. But he was going to be in Kinky Boots that was at Venice.
Yes.
And same thing happened for them. So Xanadu's back on, and you're going to be...
Kinky Boots was well into rehearsals, way ahead of us. They were ready, I think, to open within a couple weeks. Which, community theater shows rehearse for months.
Yes.
So they really were over the hump. So I felt bad for them, but they need to be on the big stage because that's such a big show.
Yeah.
So they will have their time, I believe, a year from now.
Okay.
When the theater rebuilds completely.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Any other acting or singing opportunities?
Well,
because you've got an amazing voice.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You don't want to hear me sing.
Everyone can sing. I believe that. Maybe not everyone should, but everyone can.
I have to say, some people have said, boy, Bob, you've got a great voice, like a radio voice. I've got a great face for radio, too, but you've got a really good voice. Do not ask me to sing, honestly. Your ears will bleed.
Well, then I won't ask you to do the Broadway brunches because that is something else I'm doing with Bijou Garden Cafe with Chris, Chef Chris, and Sharon's restaurant. We've started doing monthly brunches, Broadway brunches, and it's been amazing to see an audience for it in Sarasota. I'm not surprised, but when we were first starting to do it, I thought, oh, this might be something this might be old-fashioned and, out of date. We may have missed its time, because I kept thinking of like musical
Not
Mondays
in this town.
in New York. No,
Not
and
in
it
this
isn't. It is all age groups, which surprises me, and it's been wonderful. And what I love about it is what I've told you in the past I loved about producing Suncoast View. I get to help create a space for other performers to come perform.
Sure.
So it's been great. The last one we did, we had a couple performers from area theaters with shows that were about to open. So it was a nice opportunity for them to get in front of this crowd that loves Broadway. So it's been great. It's been a hit.
Great food.
Yes. Oh, the food is fantastic.
It is.
Absolutely.
Chris is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun. See, you do have lots of iron.
I do.
The fire.
And I will tell you the thing about Xanadu is there were two things I was nervous about doing. And now I bought myself, I had, with the delay, I got more time. It's a very high show singing wise. And I haven't really sung like that in a long time. So it's like getting that muscle back in shape, basically. And a good portion of it is on roller skates. And I'm not a great roller
So
skater.
they haven't taken away that element of Xanadu.
Oh, no.
Even
And-
though it's a send-up, you have
yeah.
to be on roller skates?
Yes, not as much as the girl that plays the lead, the Olivia Newton-John role, is on roller skates the entire time. But I have to be on them.
Do you get to wear a helmet and shoulder pads?
When I practice, I do have all the gear so I can protect myself. But when the show got postponed, I thought, okay, you know what? This gives me more time to get better at roller skating.
Yeah.
Have I used that time? I have not.
Right.
So, but you know what? I know me, and I'm good under pressure. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's also some other new news, that there's a new love in your life.
Yes.
And his name is Stevie.
Yes.
And-
Jerry knows.
And Jerry knows.
Jerry knows.
And it's a unique family dynamic. But we should probably tell folks the new man in Joey's life. And this is Stevie. Tell me about Stevie.
I feel like I can't talk about Stevie without talking about Lulu.
Of course.
And how bizarre that the last time, when you interviewed me before, I had mentioned that I thought Lulu's time, she was on borrowed time.
It was a week before she passed.
Yes. And I thought that I was prepared to lose that dog because I was so close to that dog. That dog was my everything.
There's no preparation.
Oh my gosh. So when Lulu passed, I knew that I needed to get another dog. And it was very hard. And I strangely, it was about 2 weeks of just crying uncontrollably. I couldn't get work done. I couldn't concentrate. It was very bizarre. It physically hurt to not have her. But I had told everyone in my life that I'm going to be your friend that's going to encourage you to get another dog when you lose one. And it's not out of disrespect for that dog. It's that you have love and there are dogs that need to be loved. So it's just that simple. And so I didn't want to be a hypocrite. And I thought, I want another dog. I miss having a dog, and I missed Lulu. And Jerry had he opposed me a little bit, and he said, no, it's too soon. Let's wait a couple months. Let's just enjoy the house. Let's be able to travel.
There's something to be said for that.
Yeah, and I kept pushing. Now, he never lets me win, ever. So I was very shocked that I broke him down, and that's when Stevie entered our lives. Jerry picked his breed. That was the breed that Jerry wanted, and it was an easy sell because they're a Cavachon. He looks like a teddy bear. He is rambunctious and loving and gentle and sweet, and I just love him. And there was one night I was laying with him, and I felt bad. It was pretty early on, like the first week we had him, and I felt bad. And I thought, oh my gosh, Lulu, out of respect for Lulu. I know the advice I would give to a friend, and I just couldn't give myself that advice, which was, it's okay. The love, you're not disrespecting her. And and in my mind I thought, Lulu, give me a sign. And Stevie was laying there, and his little paw just found my forearm, and he pushed against it. And that's what Lulu used to do. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest gift. And it's just,
You're going to make me cry.
Oh my gosh, he's wonderful. It's wonderful. And I still have bouts of guilt been talking about my dog for like the last 10 minutes. But I still have bouts of guilt about loving this dog so openly and so freely. And then it's easy for me to then go back in and go, wait, she prepared me to love this dog, if I had not loved her, I couldn't. And that's how I feel that way about my marriage to Jerry. I mean, the love doesn't go anywhere, and you're not borrowing your love for someone else to give to another person. It's just, it all progresses. But this dog is amazing. The other thing about Xanadu being postponed was we didn't know, obviously, that Lulu was going to leave us when I agreed to do Xanadu and we started rehearsals. Right. And then we lost her and got Stevie. And there was this beautiful attention sponge at our home, and I was going to have to go to rehearsal every night, and that was going to be hard. So I wish the hurricane had not happened, but when I look at what's the positive of the moving the date of the show? I got to spend so much quality time with this amazing dog.
Things somehow work out, and they happen for a reason, and I have no rhyme nor reason. But speaking of timing, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back with more of Joey Panek and more of his love of dogs. We'll be back in about 30 seconds. We're taking a break to remind you to please subscribe to Suncoast People on YouTube, Anchor, and Spotify. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Take a moment to like, subscribe, and follow. Thanks for watching and supporting Suncoast People. My guest here, premiere of Season 2 of Suncoast People, Joey Panek. And we were just talking about your dog, Stevie, and about the love of dogs and how timing, it just works out. And I have to ask about the guilt thing that you were talking about with Lulu passing, and then all of a sudden this new dog in your life. I get it, because I felt that after a dog that I had died. And it was unexpected. It was cancer. And within a few weeks, I put my name in with Airedale Rescue. I was living in Seattle at the time. And I get this call. And yes, hi, you're on the list, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, my Airadoodle, like you've got a hybrid. I had an Airedale standard poodle.
Oh.
And his name was Henry, and he was only 8 when he passed. Oh. And it was just within a few weeks, and I was really mourning, because it wasn't like he was elderly. This cancer was discovered, it was advanced, and blah, blah, blah. And don't need to go down that road. But the timing, and you can't control the timing. When they come into your life, they come into your life. And so there's a reason that Stevie is in your life.
Absolutely. And it's funny, because we were sitting, I kept pushing Jerry, let's get another dog, let's please get another dog. And he's good at holding his own. And I said, let's go to Motorworks Brewing. They're having Yappy Hour on, I think, the second or third Sunday. I was like, let's just go, be around dogs, and just see. And we did, and I swear we had one beer, and we had a shot. And then we ate, and we had an afternoon there. And then he looked up his phone, and he said, there's a Cavachon a few miles away we can go look at to adopt. And we did.
But he's the one who instigated it.
Yes, because I had pushed and pushed. I didn't, and I think he had given in and didn't tell me. And then we went and picked out Stevie. He was the perfect one, and got him home. Everything was great. And he fell right asleep. We're like, this is awesome. And then we woke up in the morning, and he had messed all over himself and his bed and the cage and everything. And I was like, what have we done? This was a terrible impulse buy. But the first first week of a
24
new
hours.
puppy.
Oh, it's so hard on them.
Oh my gosh.
So hard
I
on
just love this dog to pieces.
Yeah, I know. I know. And the current the current dog in my life is George. We've talked about George. He's a Lakeland Terrier, and yeah, this is a picture of George. I flew out to Seattle. I had left Seattle and moved to Madison, Wisconsin, and I found a breeder back in the Seattle area. So I flew back, and I got George, and he was 8.5 weeks old. And some friends of mine and I drove to the breeder, and we picked him up, and I had George in the back seat of their car, and he proceeded to throw up all over the back seat of my friend's car. Now, at least leather seats you can clean up, and it wasn't like buckets, right? But it's a similar thing of like, I was embarrassed, and I'm like, guys, I'm so sorry, and they were like, it's cool, it's okay, he's a puppy,
right?
And I'm thinking, I was thinking just what you thought. Oh boy, it's almost like buyer's remorse.
Yes.
But I can't just take a puppy and give it back.
No.
There's no way of doing that.
No. And you know what? It makes me, that makes me think of something that I've learned this summer. I heard someone say, and it might have even been on TikTok, but that's not the point. But somebody said, when you're having a bad day, and like this poor puppy, like had a bad day, got sick.
Got sick.
But if you're having a bad day, just remember that you have so many in your life. You're going to have so many bad days, so many amazing days, and so many days. And so when you have a bad day or that bad experience, you remember, oh, okay, this is one of the bad ones. We got that out of the way. That means I can look forward to the good ones, or the nothing really happened today.
Yeah, and you know what? And it wasn't even a bad day because it was bringing him home,
Yes.
and the happiness and just the unconditional love that is mutual, that goes back and forth, and so it was like, okay, you get some cleaner and you clean things up, and so it was a bad moment.
Oh yeah.
But certainly not a bad day, and he was a perfect passenger on the plane.
And now look at him. Look at the love you two have.
Oh, he and I have gotten, especially through the pandemic, we've gotten through. So, and being a single guy,
I gotta tell you, though, Stevie has changed our life because Lulu was not very social, so there was not a lot we would take her to do.
Right.
And she didn't love when people came to the house, and she didn't love leaving the house. She basically just wanted us to be home with her, and that was it.
Yeah.
And Stevie is extremely social. So the last 3 months, Jerry and I have been exploring the area now with a dog.
Yeah.
And I've realized, I knew it, but now I'm really getting to see how just pet friendly Sarasota and the entire Suncoast is. It's really wonderful.
it is, and that's a whole nother thing. And we could probably talk for another hour because we're both dog lovers, and we both love living here as well, and we will have a play date.
Yes.
One of these days, and maybe some martinis. Although mentioned before we started, you mentioned something about you're holding off on martinis for a little while. You're taking what is it in January? They say no alcohol January. Are you doing that?
Begrudgingly, yes. I'm doing. I love a good martini. That I've said before, it's my guilty pleasure. But knowing that this show's coming up, there's so much singing, and I can't sing that much and still drink socially.
Okay.
So, and social pressure is a great motivator for me. So I know that I want to be able to get up on stage and all through rehearsals and really do my best and sing and not be stressed about it.
Yeah.
So I'm saying goodbye to the alcohol. I'm also hoping it'll get me back into a couple smaller size jeans, but that'd be a nice bonus. Well, hallucinogenic mushrooms are just in.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No.
No, yeah.
No. But I'm going to continue. I've cut way back as well because a couple times George has had to be the designated driver and he can't reach the pedals on
No,
the car.
yes. See, you're putting him in an awkward position.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
it
I'm
is.
just every maybe once a year, every so often, I'll do a little reset with my relationship with drinking, and yeah, I think that's good, and I think it's good no matter where you fall on any habit or anything like that, anything that you use to cope. At least that I do. It's nice for me to reset it a little bit. I'm not going to stop running because I really enjoy that.
And that's healthy. I mean, that's really that's good for the mind, the body, and the spirit. One last question.
Yeah.
What skill or ability do you wish that you had that you don't? Because you sing, you dance, you write, you act, you know, I mean, what can't you do that
There's
you wish
a
you
lot.
could?
There's a lot. I'm not very good at sports, and I wish I was.
One sport in particular, if you could be really good at.
I'd really kind of take any of them at this point, although. Although it would almost seem a waste to have gotten through high school and then now get good at sports. Like, what's the point? The gift of patience, just practicing patience. I wish that I was better at that. But as far as skills go, there's a ton of things I wish I could play the piano. I wish I could really play any instrument. You know, I can like playing on a ukulele, but not too well.
See, that surprised me because I made an assumption that you knew how to play the piano.
No, I
background.
can, you know, bing, 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 your
Like
a
chopsticks
song
or
out.
something?
Yeah, or I can look at the sheet music, but it takes me forever, and I can only play the top staff.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that. I wish I could drive stick, but that's not really anything I could put into practice with other things.
It's a valuable skill.
Yeah. I've tried.
And also, it is probably the greatest auto theft device these days, is having a manual transmission.
No one can drive stick, so your car is safe.
I still drive a stick
Do you?
from time to time. My best friend and his wife back in Madison, Wisconsin, when I visit all the time, they have an extra car, and it's a 6-speed. So I keep up on my clutch brake, gas pedal skills, and I can't walk and chew gum at the same time, but I can drive a pretty good stick shift.
Oh, see, that's a good skill.
Yeah.
You know what I did figure out I wish I could do? I'm a terrible reader. Terrible. I wish I could sit and read a book and stay with it. I cannot do it. I'm one of those people where I'll start reading and then a word will make me think of something, and then I'll start thinking of that while my eyes are scanning the text. I'm thinking about whatever that thing made me think of, and then I'm like, I don't know what that last paragraph, that last page just said. So I go back.
You go back,
and
yeah.
then that's very hard for me.
That level of focus that you need to be reading, because you have so many irons in the fire, and because you've got so many irons in the fire, would love to have you come back and perhaps again during season 2.
Maybe I will have finally gotten through whatever my transition of life is, and that sounds like I died. So I hope it's not that.
No,
maybe
your next mountain.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'll be on the other side of it, but yes, thank
Fantastic.
you. Congratulations.
Thanks, Joey. Joey Panek, thanks so much, and thank you for watching. We're grateful. Please subscribe, like, and follow on whatever platform you're watching this show on. These affirmations are really important to us. To my ego, but they're really important because we're actually able to generate revenue to keep this show going. So if you do those simple acts, it means a lot. And if you've got any comments, you want to send an email to info@suncoastpeople.com. And in the meantime, I'm Robert Tim. Thanks for watching.